Fox Sports.
We are Blackboard. We are Wisconsin.
Beautiful night for baseball in the city of Milwaukee, just off the shores of Lake Michigan. We move inland to Miller Park. It's game 2. The Cincinnati Reds, tied for the best record in baseball, taking on your Milwaukee Brewers, hoping to get a second consecutive win against their division foes. And it's going to be Mike Fiers against Johnny Cueto on the mound tonight. 2 pitchers with prime-time ERAs set to duel in this division clash. Hi, everybody. Alongside Davey Nelson, I'm Craig Kashan. Great to have you with us as our coverage of Brewer baseball continues here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And the Brewers ended the Reds' 9-game road winning streak last night. A very balanced victory, a 6-3 win for Milwaukee. You had the pitching, you had the defense, you had the offense, but it all started with Giovanni Gallardo.
It certainly did. And Giovanni, when you talk about command and location, he had it. He had great command of his fastball, located his breaking ball, and did a wonderful job. And partner, you're right. It takes. Well, this is one of the first games. They didn't do it on the road to put together the offense, defense, and the pitching.
Nori Aoki's catch out there in right field with the bases loaded in the 8th was huge. And John Axford, a 5-out save last night. But we should have quite the duel on the mound again tonight. One Rookie of the Year candidate and one Cy Young Award candidate. BA and Rock take it the rest of the way for game 2 when we come back on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Mike Fiers on the mound for Milwaukee tonight, facing the division-leading Cincinnati Reds, coming off a victory against Houston, against one of the game's best pitchers, Johnny Cueto. He's coming off a victory over the San Diego Padres his last time out. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us tonight. This will be game 2 of this 3-game series. The Brewers did win last night, hoping to make it 2 in a row against the team that has the best record in all of baseball. And we got a great pitching matchup here. 2 26-year-olds who have made it to the big leagues in very different ways.
Yeah, Mike Fiers, his numbers have been off the charts all season long. His last 8 starts, he's got an earned run average just a touch over 2. It's 1.02. The interesting thing about tonight's start, the Reds are going to be the first team that he's faced more than once, so he's going to have to make some adjustments because you know the Reds are going to do that. Those adjustments are going to be important because he's facing one of the best in the business, Johnny Cueto. His numbers, again, very good. He's third in the National League in earned run average. He's won his last 5 starts, and he's only allowed 1 earned run against the Brewers in 2 starts tonight, so this shapes up to be a pretty good pitching matchup.
Johnny Cueto tied for the National League lead in victories with 14. He is third in the league in ERA. Brewers Reds, can Milwaukee make it back-to-back wins against Cincinnati? Game 2 from Miller Park coming up next. Brewers out onto the field here at Miller Park. Brewers Reds tonight, and the Mike Fiers Farmers Insurance report card. 6 innings pitched, 9 of his 10 starts. He has been quite the surprise. He just pitched his way into prospect status last season. He was the Brewers minor league pitcher of the year and is now pitching his way into a consistent rotation spot and certainly making an impression for next season. Brewers and Reds tonight. Dusty Baker and the first place Cincinnati Reds. They've lost back-to-back games. Lost against Pittsburgh on Sunday, and then the Brewers got them last night. 66-43 is their record this season. And here is Dusty Baker's batting order, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Zach Cozart, rookie shortstop, leads off. Then Drew Stouts, followed by Brandon Phillips. Middle of the order is Jay Bruce, Scott Rowland, and Xavier Paul. Todd Frazier, Ryan Hannigan, and Johnny Cueto rounded out the starting 9 for Cincinnati, and that's the lineup that will face Mike Fiers.
Yeah, 12 start for Fiers. Second time that he's going to face the Cincinnati Reds this year. First time this year, as we talked about on the open, that Fiers is going to face the team more than once. 16 walks is all, 73 strikeouts for Mike Fiers, and his last 8 starts have been terrific.
Well, Fires at 5-4 on the season. Here is the defense behind him. Braun, Morgan, and Aoki in the outfield with Ramirez, Segura, Weeks, and Hart around the horn. Jonathan Lucroy back in there, getting his first start of the series, catching Fires, the Menards Brewers defense. 10 after 7 Milwaukee time, and we're ready for first pitch. Fires against Zach Cozart. And there is ball one, and away we go tonight on a beautiful night for baseball in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Cozart with 12 home runs, 24 driven in. Homered last night, lines out into left field right at Braun for out number one. Four-man umpiring crew tonight. Chris Guccione is the home plate umpire. Angel Campos, Tim Cheetah, and Bill Welke on the bases. Second base umpire Tim Cheetah is the crew chief. We'll see if the Brewers can keep it going here. They were swept in St. Louis in a 3-game series, but came back and a nice victory last night. It got a little scary at the end for the Brewers, but a great catch, a game saver by Nori Aoki in the 8th inning. Preserved the lead at the time, and John Axford came back out, retired the side in order of the ninth for his 18th save of the year. The Brewers won 6-3. It was a very good ball game. Giovanni Gallardo picked up his 10th win, going 7 strong last night, Rock, with just 1 earned run allowed.
Yeah, just continued to have good success here at Miller Park in his last 2 starts against the Astros and last night against Cincinnati. Excellent work for Giovanni. Actually drove in a run with a base hit last night. It was a good night for Giovanni Gallardo.
Drew Stubbs takes a ball inside. 1-2 the count on the Cincinnati center fielder. Drew Stubbs. He has been a hot hitter in the absence of Joey Votto. Cincinnati had won 22 of 25 games before these last 2 losses here. They haven't seen many back-to-back losses. And there's no doubt why they're at the top of these standings right now. The Reds have some distance from the top to the second place team. They're up 3.5 games on the Pirates, up 6 games on St. Louis. Stubbs takes a called strike 3, and Mike Fires with his first strikeout, out number 2 in the first inning.
Good command on that outside corner. A fastball at 89 miles an hour, and looks like the low strike's going to be called tonight by Chris Guccione. Low strikes were not called last night by Bill Welke, last night's home plate umpire. That's a good sign for Fires.
Fires has turned in to be a strikeout pitcher. He's not necessarily classified as a strikeout pitcher as far as stuff goes, but because he does throw many pitches for strikes, has great command of all 4 of his pitches, he gets a lot of swings and misses. As Phillips on the first pitch pops it up to Segura. And there's the first inning for Fires in the books. A good one. 1, 2, 3 with a strikeout. Now the Brewers coming up against Johnny Cueto. In the first, a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Fiers, and now we head to the bottom of the first inning with the Brewers coming up, and Ron Renneke trying to put the lineup out there that'll secure back-to-back wins in this series. Not a whole lot of changes here tonight for Ron Renneke. Nori Aoki leads off as you check the Piggly Wiggly batting order. Aoki, Nyjer Morgan, and Ryan Braun at the top of the order. Renneke has Ramirez, Hart, and Weeks in the middle, with Lucroy Segura making his second consecutive start for the Brewers, and then Fiers rounding it out. Johnny Cueto, 14 wins, tied for the National League lead. He's trying to become the first National League pitcher to win 15 ball games this year. Cueto with the 2.52 ERA, the third best in the National League to start play today, although he's given up some runs here the last couple of starts, Rock.
Yeah, and he can't continue the success that he's had for the most part all season long. Just like the Reds have lost 2 in a row, I don't think anybody would figure they would be able to continue the pace that they were on. But Cueto certainly has a shot at 20 wins this year and a definite Cy Young candidate this year. His earned run average at 252 is third best in the league.
Cueto's already achieved a career high in victories. Let's check the defense behind Cueto tonight for Cincinnati. Xavier Paul starts for Ludwig in left field, and Stubbs and Bruce join him in the outfield. Roland, Cozart, Phillips, and Frazier around the horn, and Ryan Hannigan back behind the plate. Menard's Reds defense. As Aoki swings and misses, very defensive swing and a strikeout for Cueto.
Cueto throws all of his pitches for strikes. He's got a good fastball, about 92 miles an hour. He's got a slider and a very good changeup that he'll throw to righties and lefties. Talk about a good walk to strikeout ratio. 35 walks, now 116 strikeouts for Johnny Cueto. He's a strike thrower.
Here's Nyjer Morgan now. Takes strike one from Cueto. Morgan's had a busy day today. He was out with a bunch of little leaguers earlier today. And a great program with the athletic trainers of the Brewers, and Morgan delivers with a base hit. He promised he'd get a hit today, and he did. Nicely done. Nyjer Morgan is aboard on a single with one away.
Now, one of the reasons that Morgan is in the lineup today, he hits Johnny Cueto very well, coming in at 7 for 20. That's a 350 batting average. Now that's going to go up. Well, the off-speed pitch that Cueto left upstairs, and Nyjer with a nice swing, able to bang it into center field. Now he's 8 for 21 against Cueto.
And that will bring up Ryan Braun with one away. Braun leading the league in home runs with 29. 307 hitter, 74 driven in. Beats one into the ground to third. They go to second, and the out there. No chance to turn two, but Roland's able to get the lead out at second base.
That was pretty close. Nyjer getting down that line pretty well. Got Roland right away through to second base, and it was close.
2 outs in the inning. Braun at first for Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez had a nice night last night. Had a double and a home run. Leads the league in doubles, and he banged out home run number 14 last night on the Powerball home run leaderboard.
He had 3 home runs for the Brewers last night, all coming in the same inning against Bronson Arroyo.
That was one of Ramirez's nemesis pitchers, nemesis opponents last night. Bronson Arroyo had a sub 200 batting average against him career, but you wouldn't know it by his performance last night. Against Johnny Cueto career, Aramis Ramirez is a 333 hitter, and that one's belted. That is way back, and there she goes. Aramis Ramirez gives the Brewers a quick 2-0 lead in the first inning.
Now the third career home run off of Johnny Cueto, and RBIs number 8 and 9 for Aramis Ramirez against the Cincinnati starter. He got a little bit too much to play with that fastball at 93 miles an hour. You had mentioned that he quite have been giving up some runs. He gave up 2 home runs his last start and 1 here in the first inning.
A no doubter from Ramirez. Well, the Brewers have regained their home run stroke. Did not homer in the St. Louis series in 3 games. Ramirez homered last night, as did Corey Hart. Brewers hit 3 last night, all in the same inning. Ramirez and Hart went back to back as part of that 4-run 6th inning. And a quick strike today.
Ramos Ramirez now at 295, almost at 300. That's incredible. He has been red hot for a couple of months now.
Well, Ramirez now with 70 runs batted in. He's just 4 RBIs shy of catching Ryan Braun, which is quite a feat in its own. As Hart strikes out, Cueto with 2 Ks in the inning, but a 2-run home run by Ramirez. The Brewers off to a good start.
Lead here in the top of the second. Fires, who's been up with the Brewers since late May, told me the biggest difference he feels between AAA and big league hitters, guys up here much more patient, willing to wait for you to throw them their pitch. Pitching coach Rick Kranitz told me Fires has had a great stretch but doesn't feel like he's proved himself yet. Kranitz says that's a great attitude because once you think you've figured things out, that's when you get into trouble, guys.
And he is certainly hungry. Thanks, Mark. Mike Fiers is one of those guys that has made it to the big leagues on his own resolve. He was signed for $2,500. That's the signing bonus. That's all it took to get Mike Fiers, a 22nd rounder. And we mentioned in the open, as Jay Bruce leads off here, that he and Johnny Cueto come to the big leagues in much different ways. Cueto, from the outset, signing as a free agent out of the Dominican Republic, was thought of as maybe the next Pedro Martinez. He has been a top prospect from day one. While Mike Fiers, the Brewers minor league pitcher of the year last year, really pitched his way into that category with his season last season.
Yep. Yeah, when you're a low draft choice and they don't have a whole lot invested in you, and as far as money goes, they're always looking for reasons to get rid of you, and you have to give them reasons to hold on to you, and that's what Mike Fiers has been able to do. So other way around, you're a high draft choice.
The Wolf has been at the door for him to get to the major leagues, and 2 pitchers at 26 years of age. Cueto is already an established star in the big leagues and certainly pitching like an ace, and now Mike Fiers getting his chance and making the most of it. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jay Bruce. A 2-run home run by Aramis Ramirez. giving the Brewers the early lead tonight. The last Brewer to homer off Johnny Cueto was Craig Counsell.
Oh.
Back in 2010, September of 2010.
And that's how good he's been. He doesn't give up many home runs, only 8 this year.
Swing and a miss. Bruce strikes out, took a little off, did Fires. And his second strikeout of the game.
Well, just continues to pound the strike zone. That was a changeup that time. Jay Bruce out in front of it. Well, he's got good stuff. I mean, those strikes with all 3 of his pitches. He'll throw that cut fastball. Actually 4 pitches for Fires, and they have all been very good for him so far.
And his changeup's an interesting pitch. He doesn't have the typical grip on a changeup. It's kind of somewhere between a regular grip with the 2 fingers and a split finger grip, but he doesn't split the fingers so much that it jumps out like a split finger pitcher, if that makes sense. Segura takes care of Scott Rowland. It's just a mechanism to give him a little less velocity.
Kind of like a Foch pitch.
The
right?
Foch. I like it.
You going to show it? You want me to show it?
You show it.
Kind of like in this like this. This is a split finger fastball grip. You see how far apart the fingers are spread. This is more like what you're talking about here. Just to cut down the velocity just a little bit.
That's the pitch he struck out Jay Bruce with, and there's a look at it.
And you can see it in his fingers, and doesn't tumble. It has more of a tailing action, and it cuts down some of the velocity.
Yeah, good look at the mechanics of Mike Fiers. Good shots. 2 quick outs. Here is Xavier Paul. And a pinch hit appearance last night, delivered with an RBI single. Reds were knocking at the door in a big way in the 8th inning last night. Paul was part of it. They did score twice, but Milwaukee was able to escape that inning with a lead.
Great catch out in right center by Nori Aoki. If that ball gets to the wall, game's tied. It was a sacrifice fly, but Aoki with 9 putouts last night. He was a busy man, and that was the biggest one of the night.
How about that? Of the 27 outs recorded, he was involved in 9 of them. Well, Aoki chipped in at the plate as well. Had 2 hits last night. 2 out of 4. He's been a nice player for the Brewers this year, and he is locked up for next season as well. He signed a 2-year deal. A ball and 2 strikes on Xavier Paul. Count stays at 1-2.
Every Friday, high school and college students can purchase select tickets for half price. That's courtesy of Time Warner Cable. Visit brewers.com/students.
That one's ripped to right field. Aoki coming in, and Aoki makes the catch. Boy, he is putting together a pretty impressive highlight reel here the last couple of games. One of the toughest line drives for an outfielder, the one right at you, and Aoki made it look easy. Home run in the first inning. And here we go to the bottom of the second. Mike Fiers off to a good start. He's retired 6 in a row to start the game with a couple of strikeouts. And here is Ricky Weeks leading off here in the second inning. Weeks, Lucroy, followed by Segura. Aoki Rock, strong finish to the inning with a nice catch.
Yeah, got a good jump on it. He plays deep out there in right, which means he's much more comfortable going in on the ball than going back. Had a great jump on that one, just like he did a lot of the line drives last night hit out to him.
A 6-time Gold Glove Award winner in Japan as a center fielder. Showing some of that form here tonight. Ricky Weeks with a couple of hits last night. He was 2 for 4. He scored 2 runs. And he rips out into center field. Stubbs is there. Nice play. A line drive out on the other side. Good catch by Stubbs. One gone in the second.
Yeah, that's another difference. Big difference between AAA and the big leagues. Mike Fiers talking about the patience of hitters, but defense is far and away better in the big leagues than it is in the minor leagues. And there's a good example of it right there. That's a base hit in the minor leagues. Scouting reports and positioning and shifting and things like that make it much more difficult up in the big leagues.
Stubbs is a very accomplished center fielder. He's extremely fast. And he runs that one down, robbing Weeks of a base hit. Now Lucroy. Lucroy coming in with a .323 batting average. Was 0 for 7 in St. Louis. Does have 6 homers, 33 runs batted in. He's hit 1 homer since returning from the DL. Missed 2 months with a broken right hand and still trying to get his timing back a little bit. Although Lucroy was quick to credit the St. Louis Cardinal pitching in that series on the road.
Yeah, Wainwright and Kyle Loesch, both of those guys had pretty good games. The Brewers only able to score 1 run in those 2 games. So once in a while you just have to tip your hat. Lucroy, as you mentioned, really hasn't found his stride, his comfort level up there at the plate. He plays 2 and he sits 1 and he's trying to feel comfortable in the box again.
Yeah, Lucroy said after the St. Louis series, he said he thought he got 2 pitches to handle the entire series, and he missed them both. And when Lucroy's right, he doesn't miss them. Shoots out to right field. That was nicely done.
And that's his game, up the middle and to right field. Got that perfect inside out stroke. And hands leading the barrel of the bat.
Well, Rock, the NFL is back, and Fox's preseason coverage begins Thursday, August 16th. It's the Bengals and the Falcons, and then Friday, August 17th, the Lions and the Ravens. Coverage of both games begins at 7 p.m. Central, only on Fox. A man on with 1 away for Gene Segura. Still looking for his first big league hit. Segura made 1 start for the Angels. He was 0 for 3 in that game. That was back on the 24th of July. Part of the Zach Greinke trade. 10 days later, he was in the big leagues with the Brewers. He made his first start in the National League last night. Was 0 for 4 last night. Did have a line drive out as he bounces this one to short. And the throw to second is in time to get Lucroy.
Just got to be patient with the young man. He's only 22 years old, just trying to find a comfort level up here in the big leagues. Guys trying to make him feel comfortable, but it's tough to do. I mean, personally, you come up here and you want to get that first hit out of the way. The longer it goes, the more pressure you put on yourself.
Saw Ron Renicky having a chat today during batting practice with Segura. Sharing a few laughs, trying to loosen him up, I'm sure. It's always a method to Renicky's batting practice discussions.
I thought you were going to say madness.
To the madness. I don't want to go there. It's not madness, is it? I don't know. He talked to us for about 10 minutes today, so.
That is madness.
I always feel better walking away from the Brewers skipper. Very positive guy.
Yeah.
Mike Fiers, speaking of looking for his first hit. Slow roller, Scott Rowland. And the throw is in time to get Fiers. 2 in the books, 2-0 Crew as we head to the third. Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Big crowd tonight. Look at those kids. That's nice. Spelled it right. They're in the proper order. It's not easy to get them in the right order, you know. But the war paint on. Well done. What a night for baseball here. The Brewers are going to surpass the 2 million mark in attendance. Things not going the way they should be on the field, but they're certainly showing up here at Miller Park. Great fans. Great experience here at this ballpark to enjoy a Major League Baseball game.
They only need about 11,000 tonight to pass that 2 million mark. It's going to be easy to do that tonight. What do you figure? We're in the 40s tonight?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think going to be pushing a sellout. Maybe not quite, but it'll be close. Great atmosphere in here. Fiers ready to go again. Top of the third inning, bottom of the order coming up for Cincinnati. Frazier, Hannigan, and then the pitcher Cueto. Ramos Ramirez with a 2-run home run in the first, giving the Brewers the lead. Todd Frazier has been filling in for the injured Joey Votto. Votto is on the disabled list, and he's due back shortly. Meniscus tear.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the folks around this club that follow the Reds, and they say Joey Votto feels as though he's just about ready. But Cincinnati wants to take it easy with him. He's not expected to play on this road trip, but he may talk his way into the lineup. He's coming along quickly.
Now the Reds are 16-5 since Votto was injured. And Votto raised a few headlines and with the Brewers last time they were in because he timed his surgery to when the Reds were back home and playing sub 500 teams. Well, the Brewers were one of those teams. And he played on a road trip, a West Coast trip, with an injured knee.
Well, 3-0 pitch, and Frazier thought it was low, but it's not tonight. It was low last night. Today's a different day.
Frazier pops this one up, and that'll head back in the seats. Now Fox Saturday Baseball returns August 18th. The postseason push gets into full swing. The Red Sox headed to the Bronx to take on the Yankees. And then it's the Pirates and the Cardinals as well. Fox Saturday Baseball returning August 18th, 2:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for the game and start time in your area. Full count to Frazier. Right off the end of the bat, little cue shot and fires, makes the play, comes all the way back, down 3-0.
Have a 3-2 changeup, and it was a beauty. Threw it for a strike, and Frazier was out in front. Any pitch at any time. I mean, that's an old cliche in sports and in baseball, but with Mike Fiers, it's so true. He'll throw anything at any time. There's a changeup, and Frazier, easy comebacker to Mike Fiers. Fiers threw well his first time out against Cincinnati. That was a great American ballpark. 1 earned run in 6 innings. That's a pretty good outing in that ballpark.
And you mentioned that this will be the first team as Hannigan sends one to center field. Niger Morgan is there for out number 2. You talk about Fiers making his first appearance against the team for the second time. This is his second matchup against Cincinnati, and he's a guy that's very unusual. And now that the Reds have seen him, obviously the adjustment period begins.
Yeah, major league hitters make adjustments quickly, and the more you see a pitcher, the better chance you have of picking out a good pitch to hit and centering on it. So the Reds are going to make adjustments tonight. It's important for Mike Fiers and Jonathan Lucroy to call a game accordingly.
This will be Lucroy's first game catching Fiers against the Reds, so there's obviously different game plans, different feel back there. Although there was a pretty good comfort zone between Fiers and Maldonado. Those two were the battery in AAA Nashville this season. 0-2 to Cueto.
Well, Lucroy is a very good game caller back there. He has really come along nicely in the last couple of years and learning hitters, understanding what pitchers want to do on a given night. Maldonado's coming along as well. Not easy with 2 young catchers guiding the ship out there on the mound.
The 26-year-old Lucroy and the 25-year-old Maldonado. Lucroy signing a 5-year extension prior to the season beginning. 1-2 to Cueto. Spoils another one.
And Johnny Cueto's got one of those swings where you figure he's never going to be able to get a hit, but he's got 5 hits this year. Not sure how he does it, but he's been able to do it 5 times.
Pitchers just try not to hit his bat, right?
Seems like it.
Got him. Fiers missed his bat. His 3rd strikeout. 9 up, 9 down for Mike Fiers. Good start tonight.
2-0. Time now for social media, and Sophia Minert now joins us. She's minding, of course, our Twitter handle, and Aramis Ramirez is helping out, kind of kickstarting tonight's big event.
Absolutely. Ramirez with his 2-run shot in the first to give the Brewers the lead bumps his extra base hits total to a National League leading 54. Now Ramirez, Corey Hart, and Ryan Braun rank 1, 2, 3 in the National League for extra base hits. So Brewers fans, we want to hear from you. Who do you think will have more extra base hits at the end of the season, and why? You can tweet us at FS Wisconsin with the hashtag of whichever player you think, Ramirez, Hart, or Braun.
All right, pretty strong question for tonight, and we'll get that interaction going and update you in just a few innings, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig and Sophia. And she makes a good point. The Brewers middle of the batting order after a sluggish start to the season by Ramirez. It's a pretty formidable trio in there with Braun, Ramirez, and Corey Hart. As Aoki chases one again. Boy, Cueto's given Aoki fits. Has struck him out twice.
Yeah, a couple of pitches getting behind in the count, and Cueto's going to get you out with pitches out of the strike zone if you let him. For 2 strikes, he's only going to throw a strike if you make him. And the Brewers are 3rd in the National League in slugging percentage. And those 3 guys that Sophia was talking about, a large part of that.
Our Carsouv.com email the booth question tonight. Do you think a pitcher's home ballpark should factor in when deciding the Cy Young Award? Brienne.
I think it's close between a couple of guys, and you have Cueto in Cincinnati, and maybe you have Kershaw, for instance, in Los Angeles. I think much better ballpark to pitch in LA.
Now, with the MVP award, sometimes it can work against a hitter. I remember a few years Todd Helton, it worked against him for an MVP award.
And there are some that talk about, you know, it may cost him a Hall of Fame election because of him playing in Coors Field, which I don't agree with. I think Todd Helton's one of the best of all time, who incidentally is on the disabled list right now. And he mentioned that because the Brewers are going to Colorado next week.
Well, Cueto has been very impressive. This entire pitching staff has, and he's been the leader of it. A swing and miss pitcher who is at the top of his game right now. This is the best he has ever pitched in the big leagues. Starting to game plan better, figure the game out better, starting to slow down for him. He's only 26, but he's 14-5 at a 2.52 earned run average. And he's terrific on the road as well. Has a road ERA of 2.73. And if you put him in comparison with some of the other Cy Young Award candidates, he's certainly high on the list. 3rd in the league in ERA. R.A. Dickey, A.J. Burnett, both 14-game winners.
I'd say their closer should get some consideration. The way he's throwing the baseball, I mean, he's unhittable.
Aroldis Chapman.
He's got to be in the conversation if he keeps throwing the way he's been.
The home and road splits for Cueto. Amazing that he's 8-1 with a 2.26 ERA in that ballpark. Just one of the more hitter-friendly ballparks in the big leagues. And yet he's been dominant there.
And again, he hasn't given up many home runs. That home run by Ramirez, only the 8th of the year. He gave up 2 his last time out against San Diego. That was in Cincinnati.
Cueto has won 5 consecutive starts, but he has given up 8 earned runs in his last 2 starts. 8 earned runs in a little over 13 innings, but he won both of those starts against the Rockies and the Padres. Morgan slashes one foul and out of play.
And Johnny Cueto not afraid to pitch inside. He got inside on Ryan Braun for a ground ball to third base. He just tried to get in on the hands of Nigel Morgan, which he was able to do.
See his last 3 outings. Very good against the Brewers back on July 22nd. Giving up some runs here in his last 2. Morgan into left field. And Xavier Paul is there for the out. 2 up, 2 down. Cueto will face Ryan Braun. Well, that start Cueto had against Milwaukee That was on the 22nd of July. It was his 12th win. And Rock 9 strikeouts. He was tough to handle that day in the bright sunshine in Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's something else. I mean, he's given up only 1 run before tonight in 2 starts against Milwaukee. He got a no decision in a game in which he did not allow a run. And he won 2-1 that day.
Braun takes a strike. Braun grounded out. Actually reached on a fielder's choice, but rolled one toward the left side his first time up. Braun was aboard for Ramirez's home run. His next home run will be number 30. Braun has an outstanding shot to be a 30-30 player this year. 30 homers, 30 steals. Brian Braun is a stolen base away from a 20 stolen base season, which would be the 3rd 2020 season of his career, which is the most by any Brewer player in franchise history to have 3 2020 seasons. Power and speed. He's the whole package, Ryan Braun.
Defense, he's a smart base runner. Just because you're fast does not make you a good base stealer or a base runner. Ryan Braun has all 3 of those components. Excellent defensively. There's not much on the baseball field that Ryan Braun is not capable of doing.
Two and two on Braun. 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Down the line, Roland gloves it to his feet quickly and in time for the out. He can still pick it with the best of them at third base. 1-2-3 inning. We head to the 4th.
Lead as we head to the 4th. After most Sunday home games, kids 16 and under can run the bases here at Miller Park. That's compliments of great clips. It's going to be great.
2-0 Milwaukee on an Aramis Ramirez 1st inning home run. Mike Fiers and Johnny Cueto, a rematch of a game in Cincinnati, that 2-1 Cueto victory. Fiers facing Zach Cozart. He's back at the top of the order. Rockies retired 9 in a row. 3 strikeouts. He's had a strikeout in each of the first 3 innings.
He hasn't had too many 3-ball counts. I know he's behind Frazier 3-0, but he's been able to work ahead in the count for the most part, making his job a bit easier. I don't see too many 2-1 games at Great American Ballpark. Cueto and Fiers last time.
Back on the 22nd of July, Fiers took the loss in that game. Cozart pops this one up. Ramos Ramirez makes the call, and 10 in a row retired by Fiers to start it. Time now to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. Cueto as quick as 95, Fiers at 90 miles an hour. That's about all you'll get out of Mike Fiers with the fastball.
About 88 to 90 miles an hour with the fastball, and with very good location. You don't have to throw hard to get outs and to get strikeouts.
Drew Stubbs with one away. Stubbs a strikeout victim in the first inning. Struck out looking in the first. Fiers started the year in AAA Nashville in the Pacific Coast League. Made 10 starts down there. His last start was on May 24th. And then his first start in the big leagues 5 days later on May 29th. And it was a memorable start for the Brewers. He started in Los Angeles, was the winning pitcher in his first start. 7 innings of 1-run baseball. And he didn't walk anybody in his first major league start, which was
the
very impressive.
Yeah, a guy that's was able to calm down and remain under control, throw a lot of strikes. That was what it was impressive about Mark Rogers' first start. Did the same thing.
Bouncing ball to Ricky Weeks, and Stubbs just retired. 2 up, 2 down for Fiers in the 4th. Leads us to our AT&T trivia question tonight. Who has the Brewers rookie record for most innings pitched in a season? Chew on that one for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I know that one.
Of recent memory.
Right.
Here's Brandon Phillips. Phillips, Gold Glove second baseman. Missed 5 games with a left calf injury. Returned last night. Phillips last night at the plate was 0 for 5. Stranded 3 base runners in last night's game. But he comes back hitting right in the middle of the Cincinnati batting order. Knowing that while the Reds have been successful without Votto, losing Phillips and Votto for an extended period of time, you're asking for trouble offensively. Reds have not swung the bats well the last 2 games, but overall during the stretch, been a very good hitting team, minus their MVP candidate. 0-2, and a foul tip in and out of the middle. Lucroy.
Everybody knows the main reason that the Reds are in first place is because of their pitching, their starters, their bullpen. Their defense has been very good. They're 8th in the league in runs scored and 9th in batting average. But as you mentioned, they've been able to pick up the slack even without Joey Votto in the lineup.
Another 0-2 from Fiers, and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Mike Fiers, 4 perfect innings with 4 strikeouts. Head to the bottom of the fourth inning, 2-0 Milwaukee, courtesy of Aramis Ramirez. With 2 outs in the first inning, Johnny Cueto left one up, and Ramirez sent one out of here. Home run number 15 for Ramirez, and now 70 runs batted in. And the Powerball home run leaderboard for Aramis Ramirez. Now at 15, Braun still leads the way and leads the league.
Yep, climbing that leaderboard. Cueto tried to go up and in. He got it up, but he didn't get it in. And Ramirez able to knock it out of here.
Swinging away at the first pitch. Pop up in the middle of the infield. A mile high, and Roland makes a catch for out number 1. So 1 pitch and 1 out for Johnny Cueto. Corey Hart with 1 away. A strikeout victim in the first inning. Cueto has 3 Ks at this point. Corey Hart hitting .272, 21 home runs, hit number 21 last night, and 55 RBIs.
Hey, the crew that's set on to take the division rival Chicago Cubs Monday, August 20th through Wednesday, August 22nd right here at Miller Park. Good seats are still available. Call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com today.
Quickly 0-2 on Corey Hart. And that'll sneak into right field. A base hit. Past a diving Phillips. An 0-2 hit for Corey Hart.
Yep, on the Louis Keon delivery from Johnny Cueto. He'll do that. And got a little bit too much at the plate with a fastball up and away, and Corey goes right with it. Good piece of hitting by Hart on an 0-2 count.
Cueto started doing that last year. He had a shoulder injury, inflammation in his shoulder, and he missed the beginning part of last season, all of April, a little bit of May, and that's where he picked up this twist on the mound for a couple of reasons. It gives him a little momentum to make the pitch, but it also hides the baseball. It is not a luxury that he has from the stretch, however.
Well, you see the point of contact for Corey on that base hit to right field. See, he's able to get on top of that pitch away. And then your shot on the right. Look how deep that ball was able to travel right off the back leg, and he shot it hard into right field. Good job by Hart. Good swing.
Ricky Weeks at the plate with Hart at first. Got a chance to turn it here. Cozart to Phillips. And safe is the call. Frazier pulled his foot off the bag. Or the throw pulled Frazier off the bag. Probably a better way to put it.
A little too cute for Brandon Phillips. He barehanded it, and on one motion he caught it and then didn't make a very good throw over to first base. Had a little bit more time than that. Didn't have to do this. And you catch the ball, set yourself, and you make a good throw. All in one motion. The ball sails on Frazier, and he does pull his foot off the bag.
A good call by Angel Campos, first base umpire. And Weeks running hard down the line, not taking anything for granted. And the inning is extended for Jonathan Lucroy, who has one of the 4 hits tonight for Milwaukee. Well, for the most part, the Reds have been a very good defensive team. Cincinnati committing just 59 errors. Only the Braves have committed fewer errors than the Reds this year.
Well, it's not just errors either. It's the great plays that these guys make, and taking away the extra base hit. They've got a lot of good range in the outfield, particularly in center. Jay Bruce got a great arm. Keeps runners from taking extra bases. That's all part of defense as well.
Reds are second in the league in defensive prowess, while the Brewers are 6th. Although Cincinnati actually has a better fielding percentage than Atlanta. Atlanta the fewest errors.
Yeah, that 4-error game for the Brewers in St. Louis on Friday kind of hurt their standing. They were up as high as 4th at one point. They've been playing some very good defense the last 2.5, 3 months.
0-2 on Lucroy with Weeks at first. Chopper foul. That's one of those that doesn't show up in the box score. Phillips doesn't get an error for that throw. Cannot assume a double play, but certainly a play that Phillips makes in his sleep on most nights. See if Lucroy can take advantage. Lucroy had a single to right in the second inning.
And Brewers have been able to use that hole between first and second a couple of times tonight. Well, Lucroy did it. Corey Hart just did it. Good hitting. A lot of room over there with the man at first base.
Lucroy was reinstated off the disabled list on the 26th of July. Made 6 appearances down in the minor leagues. Rehab appearances, trying to get his bat back, get his legs in catching shape. Lucroy missed 50 games on the schedule with that broken hand. At the time of his injury, he was one of the best clutch hitters in the big leagues. Had a .514 batting average with runners in scoring position. And Rock did a lot of that damage with 2 strikes, 2 outs in innings. He was a perfect guy hitting down in the cluster of the bottom of the order for Ron Renicky, a guy who could give you some power and give you good at-bats like he's doing here against Cueto.
He's got a good approach. And that's what it takes. Try and shoot the ball up the middle of the opposite field, not try and hit home runs. Those are guys that ordinarily are going to have success in those situations. And Lucroy with 2 outs and runners in scoring position currently is at .542. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Those are devastating hits to an opposition. Just when a pitcher thinks he's about to get out of an inning, and you drive in a run. Cueto taking his time between pitches here. A ball and 2 strikes on Lucroy. And that one's whipped into center field. Base hit. Well, what an at-bat by Jonathan Lucroy.
He just kept fouling on fastballs and sliders. Cueto gave him his best fastball of the night right there at 96, and he turned it right around. And exactly what we were talking about, approach. Watch where this pitch is, right down the middle of the plate. Doesn't try and pull it, stays right on it, and hits a bullet right back into up the middle.
Ricky Weeks end up at second base, safe at second, safe and secure. New York Life. So 2 on with 2 away, and here is the rookie shortstop Gene Segura. Be a good spot for his first major league hit. Segura reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning. Hit a little bouncer to the shortstop Cozart. "22 years of age, from the Dominican Republic, Gene Segura." Chopper Cueto winds it up, and Segura is retired. So the Brewers strand a pair, and we head to the 5th. Fires back on the mound.
Top 5 time for crew in the community. The Brewers Community Foundation joining Ryan Braun earlier today, presenting a check for $25,000 to the AIDS Resource Center of Wisconsin. Join in support of the AIDS Walk Wisconsin. It's Saturday, October 6th at the lakefront. To register, you can visit AIDSWalkWis.org. Bronny is the honorary chair for the event, which has raised over $10 million over the last 22 years. Great event for a great cause, guys.
Yes, indeed, Mark. Thank you for sharing that. And nice going, Ryan Braun. Raising not only money, but awareness in the community. We go to the 5th now. Mike Fiers. He has retired 12 in a row to start this game. 4 strikeouts. Jay Bruce leads off. He'll be followed by Roland. And then Xavier Paul on the first pitch. Bruce out to Segura. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And going after a curveball first pitch. Well located. Hey, tonight's time of the game winner. Jansen's Bar and Restaurant in Oshkosh. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You know where Oshkosh is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oshkosh Bagosh. Scott Rowland takes strike 1. Sure was a beautiful day in Oshkosh today. Just like it was everywhere else in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, Lake Winnebago up there. Nice up in Oshkosh. Fox River. A lot of fun up there.
One pitch. Roland takes a ball. Fastball from Fiers. Scott Rowland grounded to short his first time up. Brewers had a tough time retiring him last night. That one's in there for a strike, and that was not called on Rowland last night. As a matter of fact, he drew 2 walks on a pitch very similar to that.
Yeah, he could very well have struck out a couple of times last night on pitches that were very close to the spot that was called a strike right on that last pitch.
Bouncing ball to third. That's a fair ball. Ramirez with a strong arm in time to get rolling. 2 up, 2 down for Mike Fiers.
Locating the fastball well, locating the curveball down in the strike zone, and with Scott Rowland getting down the line, that's an easy play for Ramirez.
So with 2 outs, it'll be Xavier Paul. Probably has the hardest hit ball of the night for the Reds. He lined out to Aoki. It was a sinking liner that was hit right at Aoki. He came in and made a sliding catch. And that's been the play of the night so far. Dusty Baker giving Ryan Ludwig the night off. A red hot hitter, Ryan Ludwig. Going with the left-handed bat of Paul against Fiers. There's a hook for a strike. Paul started the year with the Nationals. Spent most of the first half of the season with Syracuse in Washington's system in AAA. Into right field, Aoki is right there, and Mike Fiers has retired 15 straight to start this game.
GMC, not a lot of scoring, but what scoring there is came from the bat of Aramis Ramirez, a 2-run shot, his 15th of the year, and Mike Fiers is pitching a gem here at Miller Park. 15 up, 15 down, and he has looked good with all of his pitches, and the Brewers currently holding a 2-0 lead.
And we head to the bottom of the 5th, and it'll be Mike Fiers to lead off. Johnny Cueto has given up 5 hits. He's been able to strand a couple of base runners. Cueto's left 3 on tonight. Fiers had a ground ball out in the 2nd inning that ended the inning. Now 0 for 17.
And he's due, though. He's got a nice hack. Did you see that last swing? A little bit off balance, but he swung at that pitch like he meant it.
There is a flare to short right in his future. I can see it.
You know what happens once you get the first one, all the pressure's off, and then he's going to go on a tear.
Then you start raking. Like you get to hit it like every 10 at bats after that. Cueto's tough for anyone, especially a pitcher at the plate. And Fiers strikes out. So Johnny Cueto picks up the strikeout. That is number 4. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers Baseball Club. Tuesday night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Big crowd here at Miller Park. And they've seen a well-pitched game so far. Top of the order, Nori Aoki. One of the toughest to strike out in the National League, and yet Cueto has struck him out twice tonight.
He's been able to get ahead of him in each of his first 2 at bats, and then had Aoki chase fastballs up in the strike zone. Certain guys, you just don't see the ball very well. It only takes one swing.
Nori Aoki's strikeout ratio starting the night tonight was 9.9. 9.9 at bats for every strikeout, and that was good enough for 7th best in the National League. So it is news that Cueto has struck him out twice. Slow roller to second. The Gold Glover Phillips a shovel to first for the out. 2 gone. No, despite his lack of hitting tonight, Aoki has already made an impact in this game with his glove. Time now for the AT&T U-verse reverse replay. That was the catch, robbing Xavier Paul of a base hit, and the closest the Reds have come to a base hit tonight against Mike Fiers.
That's some of the hardest hit ball, and Aoki making a nice play. The hardest batter to strike out in the National League might come as a surprise to you. Carlos Lee.
How about that?
1 every 14 at bats.
Of the Miami Marlins now, traded by the Astros.
Brandon Phillips is on that list. Top 10.
Strike called. 1-2 on Morgan. Good to see Nigel Morgan out today. The play campaign with Commissioner Seelig and the Brewers athletic training staff, Dan Wright, Dave Yeager. That is a great program, and it's been a big hit. They had about, I don't know, just judging by the numbers with my eyes, maybe 80 participants. Josh Seligman was out, the Brewers strength and conditioning coordinator. Roger Kaplinger. Nigel was the big hit. Strike called. Morgan is rung up. Johnny Cueto picks up 2 more strikeouts in the 5th. Swing of the bat by Ramirez. And we're headed to the 6th. Outspoken Green Bay Packers tight end Jermichael Finley is always an interesting interview, and Paul Emmett caught up with him this week at training camp. Find out what Finley had to say at foxsportswisconsin.com. Mike Fiers in the spotlight tonight. 15 up, 15 down to start this game. has been very economical with his pitches. Has 4 strikeouts through the first 5 innings. Facing Todd Frazier. Frazier bounced back to the mound in the 3rd inning. Fires got him on a changeup. He came back from down 3-0 to Frazier to retire him in that 3rd inning. Fires is off to the best start in Brewers franchise history through his first 11 starts of his career. As the lowest ERA is a liner into left field. Braun is there. Ryan Braun runs it down for the out.
And a little bit of luck for Mike Fiers. Boy, Frazier smoked that baseball. And Ryan Braun got a good jump on it. Going toward the line, angling back, and able to haul it in. Made it look relatively easy. Good job by Ryan. See the way he's angling back, giving himself a little bit more time to get there, and makes the catch.
2 terrific catches in the outfield tonight. Aoki and Braun. And a smile for Fiers. Ryan Hannigan takes a ball. Through the first 11 career starts, Fiers has the lowest ERA in franchise history. Jamie Kokenauer second on that list. Through his first 11 starts, he had a 1.94 ERA. Fiers at 1.90. If you're wondering all time, as you see the Brewers franchise list,
I caught Kokenauer. He was no picnic to catch. I caught him throughout the minor leagues. You talk about getting beat up behind home plate when a guy was making a start.
So what made him no picnic? Just the fact that the pitch is in the dirt?
Heavy, nasty sinker. He was a knuckle busters, and every other pitch was in the dirt.
Nothing against him personally.
No, he was effectively wild. You saw the numbers that he was able to post. Not a very good fielding pitcher, but yeah, great stuff. Really did. He was my first roommate in the major leagues. That's a story for another day.
For a closed event near you.
No, not closed, but it's just it's a good long story. Maybe I'll tweet it out.
I think you only get 144 characters.
Yeah.
So 2-2. Upstairs, ball 3. Well, Fiers had Todd Frazier in a 3-ball count in the 3rd inning. 3-2 on Ryan Hannigan. Got the pitcher Cueto coming up next. On the ground to Weeks. Backhands it. Out number 2. Let's clean up our AT&T trivia. You saw Bill Parsons on that list, who has the Brewers rookie record for most innings pitched in a season. And it was Bill Parsons. 244 2/3 innings. That was back in '71. That was the year he was second in the Rookie of the Year voting. Chris Chambliss won the award that year.
That's not the guy I was thinking of.
Unfortunately, Parsons, with a 3.20 ERA, was 13-17.
Teddy Higuera was the guy I was thinking of.
Two-0 to Cueto. Cueto, a strikeout victim in the 3rd inning. And he pops this one up. Back is Weeks. He's got it. 18 up, 18 down. 6 perfect innings for Mike Fiers. presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time. Two to nothing Brewers, and we were talking about the play campaign earlier today at Miller Park. Commissioner Seelig, joined by Brewers outfielder Nigel Morgan and the Brewers athletic training staff and 100 local Milwaukee youth. The event that puts the kids in groups as they rotated through a series of stations, teaching them healthy eating, injury prevention, strength and conditioning, and educating them on the dangers of steroid abuse and performance enhancers. Created in 2004, the play campaign, and they host events in all 30 major league stadiums and select minor league stadiums. It's a great cause, great event. It was great to see the commissioner here today.
Something near and dear to his heart, certainly, to clean up baseball, and done a pretty good job of it.
Well, we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Johnny Cueto back on the mound. Mike Fiers is the story right now, having retired 18 straight to start this game. Cueto's given up 5 hits, and the 2 runs you see courtesy of Aramis Ramirez, who hit a 2-run home run in the 1st inning. It was a 2-out 2-run home run. Ryan Braun leads off. He'll be followed by Aramis Ramirez, then Corey Hart. Braun was robbed of an extra base hit in the 3rd inning. Scott Rowland made a terrific play down the line at 3rd. Been some excellent defensive gems so far in this game. Braun has one of his own in left field. Stubbs made a nice catch earlier tonight, robbing Ricky Weeks of a base hit.
Hey, get a couple more runs on the board for Mike Fiers. 2-0. Not much of a lead against this Reds club.
This feels a lot like the game that Fiers and Cueto hooked up in just a couple of weeks ago in Cincinnati. A 2-1 Reds win in Cincinnati. Cueto with that big twist on the mound. He really hides the ball well. It's a different look for him the last couple of years.
It's really deceptive. You try and follow that ball as he's trying to twist and turns his way toward home plate.
Reminds me of Louis Tion.
Yeah.
And a strike called outside corner. Braun is rung up. And Johnny Cueto now with 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, right on that outside corner. Hannigan holds it right there. That was a good pitch. A bit of a late tail on it. Caught the outside corner.
Well, last year in September, Johnny Cueto injured his lat muscle on his side under the shoulder, and they shut him down for the last few weeks in September. Had a little bit of a shoulder problem early in the season last year, but the Reds were confident enough in his health that he was going to be able to come back and be the ace of this staff. As you see Ramirez at the plate, presented by Wendy's. So much so the Reds traded Edinson Volquez to the San Diego Padres. Volquez would not sign the long-term extension. Johnny Cueto did, a 4-year deal. So the Reds made the move. They traded away Volquez and a couple of prospects for Matt Latos, who has been terrific lately for Cincinnati. And now those two front this rotation.
Yeah, Latos 10-3, ERA just under 4. I'll say that was a good move. 10 wins.
And Latos hasn't even really been on his A game this year until recently, despite the 10 wins. So unlike 2010, Dusty Baker feels like He has some horses at the top of his rotation this time around. Reds won the division in 2010. Ramirez down on strikes. Back-to-back Ks, and now 3 in a row for Johnny Cueto over the last 2 innings. Gives him 7.
Yeah, a couple of very well located sliders by Johnny Cueto down and away. Ramirez couldn't do much with those. He's got it going on too, except for that one pitch to Aramis Ramirez, the home run. See Hannigan tapping the glove down on the ground saying, get it down in the dirt for me, and he made a good pitch.
Strike call to Corey Hart. That's the pitch that Cueto rung up Braun on. Hart had a base hit his last time up, a single to right field. Cueto's not messing around inside too much here tonight against the Brewers. Just about everything is away. Well, that's a challenge, isn't it? When he's spotting a fastball on the outside corner, it just opens up the breaking ball.
You know why the breaking ball, that fastball away has been so effective lately? Because early in the game he was pounding right-handed hitters inside. Hadn't done much of it lately. You make hitters aware of inside, that really opens up that outside corner.
Cueto signing a 4-year $27 million extension with the Reds. Could end up as a 5-year deal that would last through 2015 with an option. Happy to be a Red, and the Reds are happy to have him having his best year. You never know how the big contracts, the multi-year contracts, will be for a player. Some guys have trouble with the pressure, some respond well to it.
Some kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit. Got to be careful with those. The Reds have laid out a lot of money in long-term deals for their players.
They sure have. Joey Votto, Jay Bruce, Brandon Phillips. Two balls, 2 strikes on Corey Hart. Misses away. We'll see if that affects where Cueto delivers this next one. He's been hitting that outside corner. Not an easy spot for a right-hander to dot. Payoff pitch. And a swing and a miss. A slider from Cueto, and he strikes out the side. All eyes on Mike Fiers. 6 perfect innings. He's back out for the 7th when we come back. summary brought to you by Toyota. Mike Fiers, the story right now. 18 up, 18 down to start this game. Fiers has 4 strikeouts. He's only been in a 3-ball count to a couple of hitters tonight. And Fiers back at the top of the order, 3rd time through the batting order now as we move to the 7th inning. 2-0 Milwaukee. Brewer scored twice in the first on Aramis Ramirez's home run. Cueto's been very good since. Fiers has been better so far. Zach Cozart is 0 for 2, a line drive out in the first inning to get the game started. Then he popped up to 3rd in the 4th.
Well, everybody wondering how Mike Fiers was going to be able to adjust facing a team for the 2nd time this year, and he's certainly been able to rise to the occasion so far tonight. Pounding the strike zone with all of his pitches.
He is ahead 1-2 on Cozart. Cozart, rookie shortstop for the Reds, had a home run last night, 2 for 5 last night. He's been pretty productive in his rookie season, has 12 homers, 24 driven in. Hitting at the top of the order.
Got some pop in that bat, that's for sure. Young hitter with 12 home runs. 12 home runs, 24 RBIs, not much of a run producer.
And a terrific shortstop. The shortstop of the future for the Reds. Into left center field. That's going to get down, a base hit. Cozart on his way to 2nd with a double. And the perfect game, the no-hitter is over. And this crowd, this near sellout crowd on their feet for Mike Fiers.
Yep, and well deserved. Nice job, but his work is far from over. Now the work begins. The man at 2nd base. First time he's going to work out of the stretch tonight. And it really wasn't a bad pitch that Cozart hit into the gap out in left center.
Quickly becoming a fan favorite here. And when you're pitching like Mike Fiers, reason for hope. So 6 perfect innings for Mike Fiers tonight. Gives up a double to Zach Cozart to start the 7th. And now it'll be Drew Stubbs tying run at the plate. Stubbs, one of the 4 strikeouts for Fiers tonight. In the air to right field. Playable for Aoki. Cozart's going to tag. And there he goes. The throw from Aoki. One hop and just offline. Cozart is in. Close play. Good throw. Just missed it by a little bit.
And a little bit offline to the home plate side of 3rd base. And he surrounded that baseball nicely and had a lot of steam on it as it got into the infield. And say, watch the way he surrounds it. He gets his momentum going toward 3rd base, and that's a pretty good throw, but just a little bit off the mark.
Well, Ramirez staying right with him in case he overslid the bag. That's a big play, though. The Reds do get a runner to 3rd with 1 out, and Brandon Phillips at the plate. There's a strike, curveball for Fiers.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of that all night. First pitch curveballs. Dropping in there for a strike. That'll get a hitter guessing. Just wondering what's coming next.
To the count. It's interesting tonight that Fiers has only gotten ahead of Reds hitters with a first pitch strike. 12 times, so 12 of 21 first pitch strikes, but he's been able to come back in counts.
Yeah, a lot of times it's not a first pitch strike, it's what you do on a 1-1 count. Are you going to be 1-2 or 2-1? That's those first 2 pitches, first 3 that make the difference.
Fiers able to get ahead of Phillips here. 0-2 the count with a runner at third. Phillips is hitless since coming back from the calf injury. Just his second game back. 0 for 7 since returning, with a couple of strikeouts. Bouncing ball, foul past third, close. Count remains at 0-2.
Yeah, let that curveball up and in, and Brandon Phillips able to get a piece of it. That's about a half a foot foul. Bill Welke right on the call at third base. Everything about getting behind 1-0 with Fiers, he's able to throw so many of his pitches for strikes that it really doesn't matter to him. 1-0, 2-0, he's going to throw cutters and change ups, and that's the confidence that he has in all of his ancillary pitches. A lot of guys have to pump in a fastball when they get behind 1-0.
See what he does with Phillips. 0-2 the count. And Phillips doesn't chase. Gallardo, the winner last night, picked up his 10th win. Fiers trying to shut down the Reds here tonight. He's given up just 1 hit. Cozart doubled to start this 7th inning. Two and two. Now the Brewers have good arms in the corner outfield positions with Braun and Aoki. Cozart runs well at third base. Milwaukee's infield is back. They will concede the run for the second out in a 2-0 game. 3-2.
Try to change up on the 2-2 count, and this is where Mike Fiers, has a number of different pitches he can go to on a 3-2 count. But you don't want to, walk Phillips because you got a guy on deck that with one swing can put you down in the game.
It's only the 4th 3-ball count that Fiers has been in so far. The payoff, and it's in the air, center field. Morgan racing in, has to make a basket catch. The throw to the plate is late as Cozart scores on a sac fly. Nigel Morgan almost misplayed that baseball and put himself in a bad position to throw the ball.
And because he was running so hard to get to it, he really couldn't set himself and make a good accurate throw. Big swing by Phillips off the end of the bat. That's what fooled Morgan. He went back a step, and because he was going so fast to get there, he just didn't have much on the throw and couldn't put it on target for Lucroy. That, in fact, Cozart runs very well.
Cozart scores easily. And the first run for the Reds. Base is empty now for Jay Bruce in a 2-1 game. Strike one to Bruce.
Yeah, that's what makes Mike Fiers so good. 3-2, tough situation. He goes to the curveball, and he's able to throw it for a strike and get an out.
Put that fastball right by him. A high fastball to Bruce, and it's 0-2. And a fastball. Bruce late fouls it away. Well, Fires is doing some pitching tonight. He's moving the ball around.
And that's what he does every night. I mean, nothing different, nothing new for Fires, and he has been unbelievably consistent.
Up, down, inside, outside. See what he gives him. 0-2. Curveball missed. Fires usually uses combo pitches. He uses the fastball, the high fastball, along with the curveball, and then he's got the cut fastball he throws that complements the changeup. And with that combination of pitches, the one thing he does very well is get the baseball out of the sweet spot of the bat. You hear a lot of clunky swings.
Sound dead when they hit the bat.
Just like Phillips' fly ball to shallow center. Do it again. Another 1-2. Got him. Bruce strikes out. A changeup from Fires. Well, the perfect game loss, the no-hitter loss, and the shutout. But Fires still in the lead as he heads to the home seventh.
The Reds. Time now to get social media reaction from Sophia Minard. Which three Brewers could win the extra base hits battle in the National League?
Absolutely, Craig. Ramirez, Hart, Braun currently 1, 2, 3 in the NL in extra base hits. So we asked Brewers fans, who do you think is going to have the most extra base hits at the end of the season and why? So Travis, he weighed in. He said, have to go with Braun, who has the most home run power of the three and has the speed to pile on doubles and triples. Rudy took Corey Hart, saying Hart will lead the Brewers in extra base hits because no one intentionally walks him. Samuel, he took our NL leader, Aramis Ramirez, saying Aramis finishes as the leader in extra base hits. He's a power machine. He's come along since hitting .218. BA and Rock, great comments from Brewers fans tonight.
Yeah, and very judicial, Sophia.
Yeah.
Everyone represented there on our Twitter Tuesday today. Sophia does a great job handling our social media as Ricky Weeks hammers one into the gap. That's going to go to the wall. And Ricky Weeks into second base with a leadoff double in the bottom of the seventh. Snaps a string of 4 consecutive strikeouts for Cueto. And Weeks with a couple of line drives in this game. His first hit to show for it.
Right, look at the extension by Weeks. Nice short stroke. And when he has that compact swing, that ball just jumps right off of his bat. Talking about a sweet spot. That ball, a rope out there in the left center. Good start to the bottom of the seventh for the Brewers.
Weeks in scoring position. And here's Jonathan Lucroy.
And no activity on that Reds bullpen. Johnny Cueto's pitch count still in very good shape. 88 pitches right now. Mike Fiers in terrific shape too.
Quick trip to the mound for Ryan Hannigan. Here is Lucroy. Prior to his injury, he was the best in the business in spots like this. Still great numbers with runners in scoring position. 442 overall batting average. His season average is 331. Has been at his best in spots like this as Cueto spins one in for a strike.
Now, the one thing you don't want to do here is give yourself up. I mean, I'm talking about, you know, just giving a weak ground ball to second to get the runner over. You've got Segura on deck, and then you've got the pitcher's spot, Mike Fiers, and you know Ron Renneke's not going to hit for him. So Lucroy's got to try and drive a ball to right field here.
On the ground to short, Cozart thought about third. He'll change his mind, take the sure out. That could have been close at third base. Weeks took a gamble, and he ends up at third. It pays off. He's got a big insurance run over there.
I think he looked at third right away, but I don't think he had an angle to get the ball to rolling because Ricky Weeks got a great jump off the bag. Check it out. Look at the angle. He might have hit Ricky Weeks right in the back with that throw to third base. I think that's what kept him from doing it.
Scott Rowland, a word of encouragement for his young shortstop. Well, with Weeks at third, that changes the inning a little bit. Now the infield is in for Cincinnati. And Gene Segura has a chance to drive in his first run in the big leagues.
All right, Renneke might see if he can bunt here.
And the Reds thinking the same thing, Ron.
Right.
They pitch out.
Wheels are turning in both dugouts. You know the wheels are turning in the mind of Gene Segura. He wants to get this run in the worst way.
No team in the big leagues have used the squeeze bunt more than Milwaukee. Another pitch out. You know, Dusty Baker, he is certainly not opposed to getting behind an account with a young hitter and his ace on the mound. But 2 pitch outs in a row. Does he dare go for 3?
I don't think Dusty really cares if he walks Segura in this situation. He figures he's got Fiers coming up. And then if he gets Fiers, he's gonna take a hit by Aoki to score a run. And a slider on 2-0. Yeah, I don't think he's worried too much about walking him. Put him on, you go after the pitcher, and then you force Aoki, if Fiers isn't able to do it, to get a base hit. Ron Renneke might give Segura the green light right here.
He does, and a bouncer to third, and Weeks will score. Rowland makes the play. Gene Segura is on the board, his first big league RBI, and it gives the Brewers a 3-1 lead.
All right, how about the base running by Ricky Weeks in this inning? A great jump off of second to get to third base, and as soon as his ball hits the ground, that's a tough ball to read a lot of times. He beats it right into the ground. Ricky Weeks got a terrific jump. Got a nice little walking lead on Pizza Hut delivery of the game. Gene Segura with a ground out to third base. And Ricky Weeks with a heck of a jump off of third to score a run.
And Fiers takes a strike. Renneke with the green light at 3-0. Hits are tough to come by against Johnny Cueto, so taking advantage of an opportunity to score a run even with an out.
Well, he gave the green light because he knew that Dusty Baker wasn't too much worried about walking Segura, so if he's going to throw him a cheap strike, let him swing away.
And Fiers strikes out. Inning over, but Gene Segura, 22-year-old rookie, with his first RBI. It's 3-1. Backs him a little bit, driving in a run in the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's a big one, especially when you're in a pitcher's duel like we are in tonight. 3-1 Milwaukee. They get the run back. Reds scored in the top of the 7th. Mike Fiers went 6 perfect innings tonight. Retired 18 consecutive batters to start this game before Zach Kozar doubled to start the 7th. Text question, Rock, courtesy of Ho Chunk Gaming. At what point do you sense a catcher? As a catcher, a no-hitter is close. Skip and Racine wants to know, and you have experience in that category.
Catching Wadney Avis' no-hitter back in 1987. I didn't want to say anything when we started the 7th inning with Fiers out there. I'm a little bit superstitious, but you get through the 7th inning of no-hit baseball, then you kind of get a sense that this is a possibility. Up until you get through the 7th, I mean, you're really not thinking about it too much. You're not calling a game, particularly when it's that close. 2-0 game is tough. You don't want to be pitching around guys and being too cute in the strike zone to avoid a base hit when you're only up 2-0.
Now the Brewers have had just one no-hitter in franchise history. Nieves threw it in '87. Bill Schroeder caught it. That was a lopsided game, though.
Yeah, I mean,
a little different scenario.
Yeah, we had the game pretty much well in hand, and you could pitch a little bit differently. You can call a game a little bit differently, and now it's 2-0 though. You got to go after hitters because you walk a guy and then give up a home run. That costs you the game. Winning the game is a lot more important than the no-hitter.
Scott Rowland fouls it away quickly. 0-2 on Rowland. While the Brewers have one no-hitter, they have been no-hit on 3 occasions. Steve Busby, Scott Erickson, and Justin Verlander most recently. And there has never been a no-hitter by a Brewer here at Miller Park, although there has been a no-hitter by a big leaguer at this ballpark. Carlos Zambrano fires, rings the bell. Scott Rowland rung up. Number 6 for Mike Fiers.
Impeccable command still for Mike Fiers. Right on the outside corner. Scott Rowland knew it. Maybe looking for something else, but it's tough to try and pick out what Fiers is going to throw to you because he'll throw anything at any time. Good mechanics right over the top, and he dots the I on the outside corner.
Xavier Paul now inside and high. Well, we had a chance to visit with Mike Fiers in St. Louis. He joined us in the middle of the ball game from the Brewers dugout. Very humble man and very happy to be in the big leagues. Certainly happy to just be playing baseball. Had a terrible car crash while he was an amateur player, and he was telling us about that accident. Fell asleep at the wheel in Florida and was ejected from the car. And relatively minor injuries that could have been catastrophic for Mike Fiers. Changed his perspective a little bit.
Yeah, it will. A near-death experience kind of put your life in order a little bit. Get a second chance, not only at baseball, but waking up in the morning. That'll change your approach a little bit. Remind you what's really important in life.
Well, very few rookie pitchers have done what Fiers has been able to do to start his Brewers career. And with every outing, you have to start considering even a much stronger argument Mike Fiers as a potential Rookie of the Year candidate.
And no doubt with that earned run average that he's throwing up there. 188 coming in. Down to 182 right now.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Xavier Paul. Fiers played his college ball at Nova Southeastern in Fort Lauderdale, and he's from the South Florida area, from Deerfield Beach. Brewers picked him up in the 22nd round of 2009. The story goes that Bruce Side, at the time, now the Brewers amateur scouting director, Kind of had an eye on him to think he was going to be perhaps an impact minor league pitcher and maybe get a chance in the big leagues, despite a 22nd rounder. Just because of his competitive nature and just the quirkiness of his delivery. Obviously the key was, could he develop command with all those pitches? But he's a little bit of a shock to the system for a hitter, even a big league hitter.
And the big curveball, the high fastball, it's gotten him a long ways this year. Tops out at 90 miles an hour, and he's got 79 punch outs on the season.
2-2 on Paul. Bouncing ball fouled.
79 punch outs in 79 innings. That's not too bad for the guy that tops out at 90. And Marco Estrada, another guy that doesn't throw very hard, that can rack up the strikeout totals.
Now really the only negative to his game right now is his ability to hold on base runners or hold them close, because he does take a while to deliver it to the plate, something they are working with Fiers on. But hey, if you don't put base runners on, you don't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah, if you want to find something that you can complain about with Mike Fiers, that would be one.
Yeah, that's nitpicking.
You got to dig pretty deep, though.
He hasn't pitched from the stretch very often tonight. Just to 2 batters, as a matter of fact. He's only given up 1 hit, 1 run, a sac fly by Brandon Phillips. 2-2 on the ground. Weeks cannot get there, and a base hit.
This guy's been a tough out for the Brewers since he's joined Cincinnati. There, Paul able to stay back with a changeup. Pretty good pitch. It was down, but he put in a pretty good spot just out of the reach of Ricky Weeks out there at second.
Rick Kranitz on the bullpen phone. 100 pitches for Fiers. Todd Frazier at the plate. Brewers set up to turn 2. Fiers in there with a strike.
There's only been 5 ground ball outs off the bats of the Reds tonight. It's been strikeouts and fly balls.
Six strikeouts for Fiers. 2 of them looking. Paul can run a little bit. Has 2 stolen bases since arriving to the big leagues. Hasn't been around long. Used mostly as a pinch hitter. See if Dusty Baker has him in motion here. 3-1 the score. Brewers lead by 2. Frazier pops it up. Nigel Morgan will make the call. He's got it for out number 2. Checking that pitch count. Does have activity in the bullpen. Cameron Lowe is lightly tossing there, and knowing that this is Fiers' inning.
It's got to be awfully difficult in the mind of Ron Rennick to justify to take him out, even if he's able to get out of this inning. He has pitched that well. Pitch count just a bit over 100. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
The most pitches Fiers has thrown this year, 112. Did that in 7 shutout innings against the Cardinals. Two outs. Here's Hannigan. Tying run at the plate for Cincinnati. Hannigan is 0 for 2. Fires 6 strikeouts, no walks. He's given up just 2 hits to the division leading Cincinnati Reds. Strike 1.
Nice pitch on the inside corner after trying to start him out with a curveball. That's what we're talking about. Getting behind 1-0. Able to dot the I on the inside corner. Guy looking away, expecting something on the outer half of the plate, and check this out, right on the inside corner.
And here's your 1-1 count.
Right.
Two and 1. Pitcher spot due up next. See Ryan Ludwig lurking in the on deck circle. Soft liner, base hit. On his way to third goes Paul. The throw to second base. And the Reds putting up their best threat. 2 hits in the inning. First and third, 2 men are out. And Dusty Baker is going to go to his bench. And Ron Renicky is on his way out.
It's a brisk walk out there to the mound, and this has got to be a very difficult decision for the Brewers manager. When he walks that fast, I think he's perhaps just talking to Fires to see how he feels, and got to figure he's got to stay in.
It was interesting. He's going to leave him. I don't know if you saw it, but as Renicky got to the mound, Fires was handing him the baseball.
I didn't see that.
Put that back in your glove.
That's not a good sign if you're a manager wondering if your pitcher wants to stay in.
He held the ball up as if to hand it to him, and he realized Renicky's not taking the ball. Look at him. Watch this right here. He goes, all right, okay, Skip. Yeah, here you go. Wait, no.
You know, how do you explain that after the game? You know, well, I didn't want to take him out, but he handed me the baseball. Don't blame me.
What do you want me to do? I went out there to give him a pep talk.
Good stuff.
Hannigan will be pinch run for Miguel Cairo at first base. So this will be the big hitter of the ball game for Mike Fiers, and this crowd of over 41,000 trying to cheer him on. Ryan Ludwig off the bench ends the night for Johnny Cueto. Ludwig's been one of the hottest, most productive Cincinnati hitters. Started in left field last night, was 1 for 4. 19 home runs, 57 driven in for Ryan Ludwig this year. And a strike on the outside corner.
He loves to use right center for a lot of his home runs. So if you pitch him away, you better get it down in the zone.
Ludwig just 2 hits as a pinch hitter this year. He's 2 for 11. He represents the go-ahead run. And he is an excellent breaking ball hitter. Got a lot of power. Close the book on Johnny Cueto tonight. 7 innings, 3 earned runs. He struck out 9. Right now he's on the hook for the loss. Fiers trying to return the favor to Cueto from a previous matchup back on the 22nd of July. 1-2. Had another good cut.
Yep, pitch out her half and about mid-thigh high, and that's one that he'd like to have back. That's not where Fiers wanted that one to end up.
This big crowd ready to roar if Fiers can retire Ludwig. Tying run at first. Go ahead run at the plate, and a home run hitter at that.
His best fastball tonight, 91. Climbing the ladder on Ludwig, and he's able to get a piece of it. Only one curveball in this sequence. That was the second pitch.
We'll do it again. Another 1-2 pitch. See what Fiers has in mind for the slugger. 2 on, 2 out. He didn't bite. Pretty good pitch.
Ron Renneke hoping that Mike Fiers makes him look good here and get an out just off the outside corner.
2-2 now. Ryan Ludwig pinch hitting. Got him.
Fiers, 8 strong innings, flirting with a perfect game going into the 7th inning, and just got a huge strikeout against Ryan Ludwig with 2 on in the top of the 8th inning. Davey, we have lots to talk about on Brewers Live Post, but you kickstarted right now. This kid's impressive.
He has been very impressive. Has good command all night of all of his breaking pitches. Really showed me something in this last inning, in the 8th inning, with Ryan Ludwig up, who's a tough hitter, came up and just really stayed tough with him. Good fastball up and in on him and struck him out.
Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment. The Brewers starter tonight, Mike Fiers. And we can't wait to hear from him after tonight's ball game, showing a lot of emotion right there as he gets Ludwig on the strikeout. So plenty to come. We're going to hear from the skipper, the clubhouse, Fiers, and all coming up in just a few minutes, Brian.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig and Davey. Looks like Fiers is done for the day. 8 strong from Mike Fiers.
An amazing young man, isn't he?
7 strikeouts tonight for Fiers. Doesn't walk anybody.
And talk about poise and that bulldog mentality. I mean, that was an impressive pitch sequence, being very aggressive, going right after Ludwig with fastballs. Saying, you're going to beat me. You're going to beat me with this pitch, and he was able to get him. It took him a while, but he got him. He just continues to impress. And Sean Marshall on for the 50th time this year. Great numbers from Marshall, one of 2 left-handers down there for Dusty Baker.
Aoki leads away. Reds have a new catcher as well. Deanna Navarro doing the catching. Ball and 2 strikes on Aoki as he fouls it away. Brewers have activity in their bullpen. And these days, it's kind of a revolving door down there. But for the first time in a spot like this, Renicky is going to give Jim Henderson a shot. And right now, it's a save situation. It would be his first 9th inning save situation in the big leagues if it stays this way, as Aoki squirts one foul.
Well, you never know who Ron Rennicky's going to be calling on these days down in that bullpen. Never know for sure. It was John Axford with an inning and 2/3 yesterday. And tonight Henderson gets a shot, or at least it looks that way.
Well, what a great ovation for Fiers after the strikeout. Stand to go, acknowledge the crowd. And he's had a few of them this year, hasn't he? One ball, 2 strikes on Nori Aoki. Slow roller, going to be a tough play. A race to the bag. Aoki in there.
That's a beauty, isn't it? Looks like a line drive in the box score. It's amazing how you can make contact on a ball like that. And not just make contact, but able to just kind of flick it. That pitch was down and away, and he just kind of hooks it right down that first baseline. I mean, you can't do that if you try. And Aoki with a base hit.
That extends his hitting streak to 10 games. And it'll be Carlos Gomez to pinch hit for Nigel Morgan.
The Reds have a right-hander up and ready, but Sean Marshall, one of those guys that can get left-handers and right-handers out. It really doesn't matter. He's the setup guy.
And he started the year as the Reds closer before giving way to Chapman. It's not that Marshall was failing in that role. It's just that Chapman was so incredibly dominant that Dusty Baker had no choice, and that's been the right choice for the Reds after Chapman took over that closer's role in mid-May. Gomez into left. Ball right there for the out. First out of the inning. Let's take you back to the pitch by pitch of the final out for Mike Fiers against Ryan Ludwig.
Yeah, it was a 7-pitch at bat, and Mike Fiers was very aggressive. He got ahead 0-1. This was the only off-speed pitch in the entire at-bat. Watch Fiers. Talk about a bulldog mentality, going right after a big home run hitter. Just continues to pump fastballs. He got his fastball up as high as 91, his best fastball of the night. And finally on pitch number 7, up and in, and see you later, Ryan Ludwig with a couple of men on. That was impressive.
Fiers with 1-run innings here tonight. So Marshall taken out of the game. Dusty Baker makes a pitching change. We'll set him up when we come back. game, 8 innings, 1 run. Fires ends up with 7 strikeouts and hoping for some insurance here as we play in the bottom of the 8th. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. We'll wrap up the series tomorrow. It's a matinee here at Miller Park, 12:30 airtime for Brewers Live. And then the Brewers take Thursday off, head to Houston to start a 3-game series beginning Friday night. Randy Wolf against Matt Latos tomorrow. New pitcher rock is Sam LeCure, and he's in to face Ryan Braun.
And another reliever coming out of that Cincinnati bullpen with very good numbers. 39 strikeouts in just a little over 40 innings. He threw an inning and 2/3 yesterday here at Miller Park.
Johnny Cueto started, went 7 innings, 3 runs, all earned. Sean Marshall gets an out, gives up a hit. That is Aoki at first base. And now LeCure against Braun. Don't figure Aoki is going to be at first base for long. Ryan Braun is 0 for 3 tonight. He was aboard when Ramirez hit the 2-run home run in the first inning. Reached on a fielder's choice. Not only are the Reds very good in their late inning relief when they have a lead, but they're also good with their relievers who pitch when they're down in games. They keep their club in games, and with an offense like Cincinnati, that's a big part of the successful season for Dusty Baker.
You get down by 3 early, your bullpen comes in and holds the opposition scoreless, gives the offense an opportunity to come back.
The best bullpen in the National League, best in ERA. They lead the National League in victories as well. Brewers scored 2 in the first. Aramis Ramirez with his 15th home run. Fiers had 6 perfect innings. Retired the first 18 he faced. He finally gave up a hit in the 7th. That was a leadoff double by Zach Cozart in the 7th inning. Cozart would come in to score on a sac fly by Brandon Phillips. But the Brewers got the run right back in the bottom of the 7th. As Braun pops it up. Frazier, foul territory. And out number 2.
Man, pretty good breaking pitch from LeCure. It had Braun out in front, kind of reached for it, and then an easy out. Not a household name, Sam LeCure, but he certainly put up the numbers this year. Maybe he's a household name in Cincinnati.
Oh, for sure he is. There's a big movement there. They call it LeCuring. Another Texan. Sam LeCure played his college ball at the University of Texas. Just like his center fielder Drew Stubbs. Ramirez with Aoki at first. 2 away in the inning, and that one's a little bit low.
He's looking to run, is Aoki.
Been trying to get a book on LeCure. Very first pitch LeCure threw Aoki started and stopped. He and Garth Orge in a timing discussion over at first base. Orge has the stopwatch.
Hannigan, a very good throwing catcher, but he's out of the game.
Aoki starts and stops again. Ramirez hit a 425-foot home run in the first inning off Cueto. has hit 3 career home runs against Johnny Cueto in 34 at-bats. And now 9 RBIs against one of the best pitchers in the big leagues.
What are you saying? The last Brewer to hit a home run against Johnny Cueto was Craig Counsell.
That's right.
Of all people. Of course, 2010.
He hit a lot of them, though.
He's talking about a home run hitting ball club.
This was Ramirez in the first. Cueto, a fastball, and Ramirez didn't miss it.
How many Brewer hitters would you have run through before you got to Counsell on that question?
There goes Aoki, and a base hit for Ramirez. Aoki on his way to third.
How about that?
With Aoki on the move. Aramis Ramirez in a perfect hit and run count does just that.
And not sure it was a hit and run, but it looked like one. Aoki taking off, opening up the big hole over there, and look at Ramirez trying to shoot that hole over there, able to do it, and doing a nice job getting on top to hit it on the ground. Well done. You don't see that very often anymore. The old hit and run play.
2 hits tonight for Ramirez, and now hitting .295 for the season. Extends the inning. First and third now for Corey Hart. Well, this extended inning here, you wonder about Jim Henderson. He has closing experience in AAA. He notched 15 saves in AAA, but Henderson was getting ready quickly, even with nobody out. He stopped since. Lee Tunnell is down there, putting the reins on the hard-throwing right-hander.
Not many AAA stadiums have 41,000 fans.
Yeah, those last 3 outs.
And the third deck and all the excitement that goes with it. Not as easy as just pitching a scoreless inning. Not at the end of the game.
Tough spot for a guy to be in out there. On one hand, you want the inning to end so you can get on the mound, but on the other hand, you want to see your offense deliver with some insurance runs. I was always amazed at Trevor Hoffman, and you'd look out there and you'd say, well, there's no way he's going to be able to get ready to come in this game. He only needed about 8 pitches.
No, he always said that he got ready up to 8 pitches away from being ready to get in the game, because that's how many he gets out on the field. Doesn't have to throw as many pitches in the bullpen.
And Hoffman, I remember a story when he was working with John Axford about let that adrenaline, use that to your advantage when you get on the game mound ready for your outing. It's hard. Swings and misses. A strikeout for LeCure. The inning is over, and Big Jim Henderson is going to get his chance. 29 years of age, 10 years in the minors. A save opportunity coming up. been a good night for the Brew Crew so far. Mike Fiers, the star of the show tonight. 8 innings, just 3 hits, 1 run. His ERA dropped from 1.88 to 1.80. He leaves after 8. His club leads 3-1, and he'll turn it over to the man that was closing games for him in AAA, Jim Henderson. And the Columbia St. Mary's save tracker 0. This is his first big league save opportunity.
Well, last pitched on Sunday, gave up a run in an inning of work. That was Sunday against the Cardinals.
See his career save tracker in the minor leagues. He had 15 down in AAA Nashville. Just a couple of years ago, he was in Wisconsin in A-ball as an older single-A player at 26 years of age. Had 17 saves there. But he has made the trek to the big leagues. And he'll face the top of the order. Zach Cozart leads off.
It's just a matter of being able to control his emotions and throw strikes like he's been doing so far in his innings.
Carlos Gomez takes over in center field.
Now the reason that Henderson is up in the big leagues because his last 15 appearances down in Nashville gave up 1 run. That was a .61 earned run average, and now it's all about throwing strikes for him in this inning.
There's a strike. Henderson has a big fastball. He can get it up there in the 95, 97 mile an hour range. Fastball slider pitcher. And a strikeout pitcher for sure. From Calgary, Alberta. An amazing story to the big leagues. Jim Henderson plays college ball in Tennessee. His professional career began with the Expos. 2-2. Into right. Aoki on the run. Down the line, and he makes the catch. Nori Aoki.
Well, that'll calm him down out there in the mound. First batter gets it out. Well, coming back from getting down 2-0 and going 3 consecutive pitches in the strike zone. Ball slicing away from Aoki. And he's able to grab it just before he gets to that wall out there in right field. That was a foul ball.
Caught it in the palm of the glove. Here's Drew Stubbs. 3-1 Brewers. That was a big run. The Brewers answered in the 7th inning. Cincinnati scored in the top of the 7th on a sac fly by Brandon Phillips, and the Brewers quickly responded. Gene Segura, rookie shortstop, drove in the run. 0-2 on Stubbs.
5 straight pitches in the strike zone for Henderson.
Got to give him a lot of credit. He was pitching in the upper levels of the Cubs system, AA, AAA. Brewers had a job for him, but he had to go to single A after he had been in AAA for 2 seasons. And he did it. And it has paid off. And a swing and a miss. Henderson strikes out Stubbs. 2 outs.
Yep, slider, fastball, slider off the plate to get Stubbs. That's a good 0-2 pitch right there. You don't need to throw a strike. And Stubbs very susceptible to the strikeout, and there's another.
Mike Fiers knows he's an out away from his 6th win. Think about the names that are producing tonight. Fiers, Henderson, Gene Segura. Brandon Phillips 0 for 2 tonight. He did drive in a run in the 7th on a sac fly. The only tally of the night. Boy, he just ate him up with that fastball.
Yes, he did. Surprising that he swung at it. Ordinarily you take a strike until you become the tying run.
1-0 pitch, and that had some hair on it, that fastball.
Ball and a strike. 1-2. Powder River from Jim Henderson. 96 miles an hour with a fastball. A strike away. Reds haven't lost 3 in a row since July 5th. Did he go? They'll ask. No, he didn't. Check the swing. It's been over a month since the hottest team in baseball, the Cincinnati Reds, have dropped 3 straight. Brewers can send them to their 3rd consecutive loss with 1 more strike. 2-2 in the air. This should do it. Gomez and Aoki. It is Aoki, and that's your ball game. Jim Henderson with his first major league save. Makes a winner out of Mike Fiers, who goes 8 innings. 6 of them were perfect to start the game. Fiers to 6-4, a 1.80 ERA. Aramis Ramirez with a big 2-run homer. And congratulations to Jim Henderson, his first save as a big leaguer. 3-1 the final. The Brewers take the first 2 games of the series. We check in with Craig Kashawn. Brewers Live coming your way.